Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Vintage Motocross Q&A. I'm your host, Joe Abadi. Tonight's show is going to be very, very special. First, let's take a look at the starting line. This is, of course, sponsored by Vmxq. We're going to be telling you more about their stuff a little bit later on. But for right now, we've got a 1974 KX125 that was sent in to us tonight. We're going to have that in the Moto Showcase. We're also going to be taking a look at a 1979 Honda CR250 that recently sold on eBay. Really, really nice piece. I'm going to tell you more about it and how much it sold for. Also on the show, got a little bit of a new segment. Jordan has taken his camera out into the field and did a little tape with his drone. It's called Dirty Bikes. It's episode 1. You're going to really, really like this, and we're going to be doing more of that in the future. Some really, really great things going on tonight. We got a special offer from Preston Petty, from Metro Racing. AMSOIL, of course, is back this week. We love their products. We're going to be telling you about a very special deal we have for AMSOIL. And of course, Vmxq is back on the scene with some other great things too. Right now, let's see what we got. Oh, we got a trivia contest tonight too, Jordan. It's the first Wednesday of the month. Here we are. And we're going to be giving away this great book by Keith Geisner, Finding Number 49. So if you're watching this from your phone right now, you're going to want to get near a phone a little bit later, or tell your son, your daughter, whoever you might be with, to give you their phone. We're going to give you a phone number. You're going to call in. Going to have a trivia question for you. You're going to have an opportunity to win Finding Number 49. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A on Facebook. You do almost every week, and I so much appreciate everyone coming in and supporting the show. The numbers are going great. Right now, what I'd like you to do is to hit the share button. Tell some friends about it. You can hit that share button. I've watched live feeds before. I watch Steve Wise every week, and I invite people over there. So if you hit that share button, maybe grow the group a little bit, we can move on with the show. But I'm not doing anything until you hit the share button. No, I'm not fooling around. I'm not doing it. Jordan, anybody hit the share button yet?
Yeah, we got a couple.
All right, now we can go on with the show. Next slide. Why not try this? In this segment, we've got some really great tips from some of the viewers. The first one we're going to take a look at, it says, for sticky cables, I've been using Hornaday one-shot gun cleaner lube. It has quick drying degreaser and a clear dry lubricant like graphite, but clear. When the degreaser evaporates, the clear lube remains and makes the cable glide with ease. I use a regular lube injector gadget just like we've all used with any other lubricant. This comes in from Sal Scarpa. Now, this is what Sal uses. He uses this one-shot case lube. He uses that little gadget that we all use to put on your cable, gives a direct shot, goes right down in the cable. This tip comes again from Sal Scarpa. Sal, you do realize that AMSOIL is a sponsor, and I will not be able to take any tips that have to do with any lubricants other than AMSOIL ever again. Thank you, Sal Scarpa. A tip for the woods riders. Anyone wanting to protect their perches and levers, I cut strips from plastic, milk jug, and make it a little wider than the perch, and I mount it between the perch and the handlebars. You can tighten the perch enough to keep it in place. However, upon impact from either a fall or maybe hitting a tree where you're riding through the woods, it will spin on the bars instead of breaking or bending. This comes in from Brian Taylor. Brian, this is a pretty good tip. And here you can see right here is a Magura lever. Very, very expensive if you had to replace. And what Brian is suggesting is cutting a strip out of a milk jug, that nice flexible translucent plastic, and putting it in between the handlebar and the perch, much like you see right here. It's a really good tip. And I did a little research on this too, and I found, and in the next slide we could see it, that there is someone who's actually making a little sleeve or the whole perch and lever with that sleeve in it that goes over the handlebar. It's a very, very expensive lever though, a very, very expensive perch as well. But what you're suggesting, Brian, is to do what they've done right here. It really does work really well. I would really recommend this, especially for you guys who maybe have some younger kids or riding 80s or 100s out in the field by your house, and they're taking a spill or going through the woods and they're bending or breaking a lever. Put a little piece of plastic in between there. You could really tighten them up yet. When the kid takes a spill, it's not going to cost you a lever or maybe a perch. Brian, thanks for that tip. Jordan, what do we got coming up next? Golan products. I really like this. Earlier this week, I got a text message from an Elon Golan, and his company is down there in Gardena, California. They've been in business for a while. They make some really, really great stuff. So he said to me, he wanted to send me a little fuel filter for me to look at on the show, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. It is made, Jordan, can we go to the B camera? Here it is. It is made from 6061 aluminum, okay? And it's, well, let me show you. It unscrews. Inside there is a spring like this, which keeps it spring-loaded, keeps it nice and tight. Also inside there is a filter just like this. And it's a screen, and then inside there is a finer screen. So you can continuously wash that thing out. Getting some experience here with the B camera and handling this product. And you can clean it out and use it many, many, many times over. You know, the plastic filters that many of us use, they can break, they dry out. But this little item right here from Golan Products is something that would really, really solve your problem. And I'll tell you what, if I had, let me back up. This item retails for $62, but it's the last filter you're ever going to use. It's 6061 aluminum, it's anodized, it works fantastic. At $62, I'd buy one if I had a new bike. I'd buy one and put it on my vintage bike for that matter. But for a new bike where engine rebuilds, if you're not taking care of them and you're getting sand in the gas or other things that might be going on, you might want to get a filter like this. A little expensive, yes. I saw them at a discount at Dennis Kirk and a couple of other places when I did a Google search on it. Elin Golan, I want to thank you for sending me this neat little filter. I think it's a great item, and while maybe a little more costly than other things that are on the market, I think it's probably going to do a job better than anything else that's out there. In the Moto Showcase, Rick Divino has sent us in a 1974 Kawasaki KX125, and the job he has done on this bike is absolutely unbelievable. He's got some really trick parts on it, and as we go through the slides, I'm going to tell you all about it. Number one, he's got a set of 35 millimeter RM 125 forks on there and triple clamps. Makes the front a lot more stable. The KX125 did have some flimsy forks on it at the time. He's also outfitted this bike with a beautiful set of Öhlins shocks, probably the best shocks money can buy in the vintage motocross market. Carl Landris did a knockout job on this aluminum swing arm. It turned out beautiful, and Jordan, go back one again. That brake stay is titanium, and Tony Divino had that made. He and one of his friends fabbed that thing up. The pipe, well, we'll get back to the pipe. We'll talk about the pipe for just a second. The pipe was made by Dave Miller, and I'm going to mention another product made by Dave Miller here in just a minute. Jordan, let's move on. Another shot of that great Carl Landris aluminum swing arm. Now, here's the head. This was made by Dave Miller from Miller Mano. We all know that name. What Dave does is he has a bunch of these porcupine heads made, but they're blank. And then he drills them out for whatever they need to be applied for. Of course, Tony Divino's had to be for a KX125. So the holes are drilled exactly where they need to be, and then the dome is cut, and you got a perfect fit for the KX125. Something really cool here that Tony did, don't change the slide yet, Jordan, is he had to use a little bit of a long porcupine head while I'm standing here or sitting here right now. Dave Miller is undergoing chemotherapy. He's battling cancer. If you go to his page, you can find out more about it. But while we're talking about Dave Miller and all the amazing things he's done over the years, I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to Dave Miller and his family. Jordan, next slide. Tony's applied a 1976 YZ125C tank on this bike. He said he had to do a little welding up on the front of the tank because it doesn't mount quite like a KX125 tank mounts through some bolts. So he welded some cups up there or some stems that accept some rubber mounts, and then he's able to slide that YZ125C tank on there. He even had the graphics made, but had them reduced slightly in size so they would fit that tank. Nice touch on the aluminum gas cap too, Tony Divino. It's got the basic stuff on there. It's a 6-speed Kawasaki, did a nice job refinishing the cases. He's got the correct countershaft sprocket guard on there. I like that, a little bit wider foot peg. He's got the basic KX125 rear hub on there. He's got some new spokes in that hub. He's got some beautiful black rims on that bike. Now, the part that is absolutely so trick about this bike, and I know you all want to hear about it, is this induction system that was put together, also fabricated by Carl Landris. It is known as a skunk kit. And what it does is it takes out that little side carburetor that's operated by the rotary valve. The rotary valve still stays in place, of course, but you take off that little spindly, I don't know what it was like a 28 millimeter carb on the side of that bike, and it replaces it with this tube and a 32 millimeter Mikuni. Tony says this bike really sings with that big Mikuni on there and this skunk kit. I don't know if Carl's going to be making these for the public or not, but he did an amazing job fabricating this one for Tony Divino's bike. Tony Divino, I want to thank you for sending in this beautiful KX125. In turn, you're going to send me your address, and I'm going to send you a really great sticker kit from fastguystuff.com. Thank you, Sean Gomes, for being a product sponsor of the show, and thank you, Tony Divino, for sending in your beautiful 74 KX125. Dirty Bikes. This is the video that Jordan has put together. We're going to be making more of these in the future. He does it with the drone. He's got some great skills. So we're going to bring it up on the screen. You can take a look at it, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Jordan?
Hi, my name is Jeff Mendes. I live in Red Bluff, California. This bike here is my 1974 CZ250.
Hi, my name is Ethan Mendes. I'm from Red Bluff, California, and I'm 14 years old. This is a 1972 CZ250.
I purchased this bike from a gentleman in Gilroy, California, and started racing it last year. It's kind of a funny story. I bought this bike, and I usually like to build my own bikes, and I found this bike on the internet, and I was looking at it, and for the price I thought, heck, I can't rebuild the bike for the amount that I'm gonna buy this one for, so I just went ahead and purchased the bike set up as is. I've done a few minor modifications to it. I changed the shifter and a few other little odds and ends to make the bike adapt to my riding style a little better. But for the most part, it was purchased just like this. Charlie Richardson built the motor out of San Diego. The rest is just good old CZ stuff. It's a ripper. It's a lot of fun to ride.
This is my grandfather's motorcycle. It's got a wet clutch, 4-speed manual, or 4-speed. What? Poison? Poison? It's got a wet clutch. It's got a poison reed valve, and it's a really fast motorcycle. And it's a 4-speed.
All right, Jordan, great job on that little video. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, I mistakenly said that Jordan does this with the drone where he's going around next to the bikes. He does it off his own bike. He's got that little camera. He's riding his bike next to these guys. Now, throughout the racing season, we're going to be trying to, to get out there to some of the other races and make similar videos like this so we could bring a little bit more of the family environment and show you what's going on out there at the racetracks where people can talk about their bikes and things like that. So I'm looking forward to getting out there on the road to some of the races, probably at the CZ race in Marysville coming up in April. We'll be doing more stuff like this. Jordan, great job on the video. What's up next? Here's the problem. I enjoy this. This is one of my favorite parts of the show, where people send us questions during the week and sometimes comments, which I welcome as well. If you've got some things you just want to say and not ask a question, send it in to me, inbox me. I'd be glad to read your message on the mail, read your message on the air, and we can discuss that a little bit further. But right now, let's see what the first problem is. Gary Davis, I have owned a 73 Mako 400 radial that was fast and handled great. The only problem I had was that the fiberglass tank leaked almost immediately when I got it. What are the facts behind the nickname Mako Break? I'm going to tell you a little bit about this, okay? There was an ad. This is a great bike, too. I happen to love this bike, 77 Mako AW replica, my favorite of all the Makos. Anyway, I remember an ad coming out in the early 70s, and it was from CZ. And what it said was, get off that Breako, get off that Breako, get on a CZ. So I think the thing of Mako Break kind of came in with that. And of course, you've got a bunch of guys that whatever, you know, they catch on or they latch on to this mystique or this negativity about the bike, much like they do with the TM400. And it goes on and on about Mako Break. Let me tell you something. I know plenty of guys that ride Makos. It's a very special bike. It needs maintenance. This is not just your average Yamaha or Honda or Asian bike that you could just jump on and it's always going to just go. You need to do things after you race it. You need to maintain certain things on a Mako, and it's worth it. It's worth it to do that. I know plenty of guys that ride Makos, and they've had great careers on them in vintage racing. I'll tell you what, Jordan Woodworth, our producer right here, when he first got into vintage just a few years ago, he liked Makos. He rides one till this day. He rides a 78 250, a 79 440. You could see him up there in the Pacific Northwest or down there at Glen Helen, racing wherever there's an event, and he does a really good job on it. And he maintains the bike, and so far, he's had no problems with it. So, Mako Breako? Nah, I don't buy it. Jim Schultz, I have a 1980 RM100 plastic gas tank. I began to crack and then it just disintegrated. I began filling a second tank with fuel only to have it split as well before I ruin any more tanks. Would you have a remedy for this problem? I'll tell you, Jim Schultz, I don't. But I'm having this question on the show, even though I don't have an answer for it, because I'm hoping that some other people can get involved and they can tell us maybe what they're doing. Now, I contacted Phil Cox from Plastic Renovations, perhaps the best plastic restoration guy I know. He doesn't really have a system for it either. He doesn't really know. He can polish plastic. He can even repair cracked plastic on fenders, number plates, and things like that, but not so much on plastic gas tanks. If somebody out there knows something that anyone can do to kind of get the flexibility back in an old plastic gas tank before people put gas in them, I'd be interested in knowing about it. I saw a video on YouTube about boiled linseed oil and people putting rubber parts in there, things like intakes, and it worked really, really well. Of course, I don't know how you're going to get boiled linseed oil inside of a gas tank or what the process would be to do that. But if anybody who's watching this show has a suggestion, a recommendation, anything at all that they could tell us about how to soften up the plastic on old vintage gas tanks like that, I'd be interested in hearing from you. So would other people. Send me a message in the inbox. I'd be happy to put it up here on the show in one of the weeks to come. Thank you. And thank you, Jim Schultz, for sending in the question. Bill Walker, I ride a modern vintage. I ride modern and vintage bikes, and I'm tired of carrying 3 different gas cans. I run Yamalube in my Mako at 32-to-1, Blenzol in my flat tracker at 50-to-1. He doesn't say what kind of flat tracker he rides, but he runs Blenzol in it at 50-to-1 and Amsoil in my KTM. Can I run all 3 bikes at 50-to-1? You absolutely can. And you're holding the answer right there with your other oil. Amsoil. They were the first to make synthetic oil in 1973. There's no reason why you cannot run 50-to-1 synthetic oil in your vintage bike. No reason at all. You've probably replaced the piston by now. You've probably got a better piston in there, but even that doesn't matter. Back when synthetic lubricants came out, we just began using them in the parts, in the bikes that we had in 1974 and 1975. There is no reason why you couldn't use a synthetic oil at 50-to-1 in a bike that is required, according to the original equipment manufacturer, to run at 32-to-1. Yes, you're going to have to play with the jetting a little bit. You might have to take a look at the plug, do some plug readings, and make some adjustments. But there is no reason why in a vintage bike you can't run 50-to-1, especially you're already running Amsoil. So you're on the right track. Thanks for the question. Mitch Brown, I have a cone pipe that needs to have some rust removed. I was thinking of using WD-40 and some fine 3M Scotch-Brite pads for that. What should I use to protect it afterwards? You're on the right track with the WD-40 and the Scotch-Brite pads. No question about it. Your pipe looks like this. Many of our pipes look like this. When we don't want to paint them, we go out and race the bike. You wash it afterward. A day or 2 later, you're going to wind up getting some surface rust on that. Yeah, you can remove it with WD-40. This bike is absolutely incredible. Belongs to Bubba Dennis. I put it up here just for dramatic purposes because I love the way the pipe looks. It's nickel plated, and the way he's cut away that gas tank on that Mako to make that pipe fit. Now, I'm sure you don't want to polish or get your pipe quite that shiny, but You do want to clean it up with the Scotch-Brite, as you said, and the WD-40. What do you want to put on there afterward? You want to use AMSOIL. Jordan, do we go with the close? Here we go, great. You want to use AMSOIL Metal Protector, okay? You spray that on there, it leaves a beautiful little film on there, but it's nice and dry. And it lasts a little longer too. I've had this in the shop for a while. This is how I actually got really on the bandwagon with AMSOIL products. I like this stuff very, very much because it leaves a little bit of film on there after you spray it on. And if you notice on some of your other things like WD-40 and a couple of other products that are out there, after a day or so, if some moisture gets on it, it just starts to drip, it starts to wash away. This stuff won't do that. It'll stick to the pipe, it'll protect it a whole lot better. AMSOIL Metal Protectant. Try that. Mitch Brown, thanks for the question. Boy, have we got a deal for you from AMSOIL. Now, let me go slow here because there's a lot to cover. We've got a sample box, or AMSOIL has a sample box. It comes with a quart of 10W40, but you can choose any weight oil you want, and that retails for $13.35. They've got a degreaser, a mudslinger, which I really like. This is stuff that you can spray on garden tools. You can spray it under your fenders, all over your quad if you're riding a quad. It just leaves an incredibly shiny and slippery surface to anything. A snowplow, a garden tool, your vintage motocross bike, your helmet, anything you don't want mud and crap to stick to. Anyway, mudslinger. You got the chain lube. You got the octane booster, which even though it's a little bottle just like this, and I'm going to show it right here before we go to the closer screen. It's a little bottle just like this. It treats up to 15 gallons of gasoline. So if you're in an area where you're not using race fuel, but some of your pump gas is a little lower in octane, you want to use the octane booster from AMSOIL. So you got the octane booster, you got the funnel, you got the stickers. This would cost retail $88.40. Russell Waters and the team at AMSOIL has put a special package together for us for $49.99. $49.99, $88.40 worth of stuff. You save 44%. Now, I'm going to tell you how to do this too. His PayPal address and his email are the same. It's amsoilplus@aol.com. What you do is you can use the email address to go over and tell him what weight oil you want to order. Then you can go over to PayPal, amsoilplus@aol.com, pay him the $49.99, and you're on your way. Also, Russell tells me the first 12 people that order this oil special from AMSOIL is going to get a hat just like this. Nice ball cap, just like this. I like this one. It's got a little bit of a distressed look to it. This one's nice, maybe for the girls in your house. Pink on the back. It's got a little camouflage on the front. These are $15 hats that Russell is going to include at no extra charge to the first 12 people that order this special deal from AMSOIL. Great. Put it on in case you got a haircut and you don't necessarily like the way it looks the first day you got it. Thanks, Russ Waters and AMSOIL. We're looking forward to getting some people to buy your product, and we're going to keep showing your stuff on the show in the future. What's it worth? This week we had a 1979 Honda CR250 from Texas that sold on eBay for $5,200. Now, I don't know how this guy with a clear conscience could sell this bike. And when I say with a clear conscience, I don't mean he's doing something wrong. He's giving this bike away for $5,200. Let me tell you a little bit about it. You know, the engine's been completely rebuilt, the bearings, seals been replaced, new clutch and friction plates, the cylinder has been freshly nickel-sealed by Power Seal. It's on a standard bore. It's got a rebuilt key carb. It's got an uncracked airbox. It's got a new support ring on the back there with twin air filter installed. As you can see, it's got some new rims, new spokes, Fox air shocks. He mentioned the rims being full circle, Buchanan stainless spokes, nipples, new tires, custom-made gripper seat made from the UK. It's got rust-free 1980 shower forks on there. Nice, because those are an inch longer than 79 forks. Brand new seals, fluid, the sliders have been all refinished and they've been powder coated. The shocks, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, 17.5-inch Fox Airs. I know those go for probably $750 alone. The tank is flawless with a PPG base coat clear coat. It's got an alloy cap, new graphics. It's got Vmxq plastics on it, side pull throttle, new controls. It's got just about everything you could possibly do on that bike. I am willing to bet there is close to $4,000 in just parts and outside services alone on this bike. Add that to the cost of the platform bike and the expertise that this seller put into this bike to put this all together, that's a smoking deal at $5,200. Would you agree, Jordan?
I agree.
You damn skipper, you'd agree. Great looking bike out of Texas for $5,200, 79 CR 250. Trivia, now's the time. Get your kids in the room, tell your wife you need her phone. First call, not the first call, yeah, it's gonna be, wait a minute, Jordan, you're confusing me. Are we giving away a Harley? No, we're giving away a book. You do that to me all the time. I think I'm giving away a bike. We're not giving away any bikes yet. The first one to call in with the correct answer will win Keith Geisner's book, Finding Number 49. Now, here's the question. Name 3 American riders who never won a national championship but went on to become world champions. There are 3 of them. Never had a national championship, went on to become a world champion. One of them, in fact, was a 2-time world champion. Never a national champion. Here comes the number, 925-234-8181. That's 925-234-8181. Susie's inside waiting for the first person to call in with the correct answer to that trivia question. You're going to get yourself Finding Number 49 by Keith Geisner. In the product spotlight tonight, we've got a lot going on here, and I'm really, really excited about it too. First of all, Metro Racing out in Pennsylvania. Longtime vintage supporters and enthusiasts, Don and Peg Miller, Metro Racing. They've got Metro March Madness going on. They've got some great items out here, from hats to mugs to pants. I mean, let's just stop there for a second, Jordan. You got pants here that retail for close to $100. They're selling for $60. Big markdown on a lot of stuff. Don Zilla's moving out the inventory to get some new stuff in for the spring. They've got hats, jerseys, blankets. They've got pants. They've got lighters, all kinds of things. So get over to metroracing.com. Pick out your item. The savings are not going to last forever. It's March Madness at Metro Racing. Vmxq. I'm so happy Vmxq's on board again this month. They've got an amazing, amazing deal going on right now, especially for the Mako 490 piston kit. Just $214.95. And because you're going to get a promotion code, Vmxq&A 320, you're going to save an additional 10% off of that thing. Now, I'm going to read to you a little bit about this piston while we take a look here at the slide. It's Vmxq has all new top-end piston kits to help you keep your ride going. These complete top-end kits come with everything you need to get the rebuild done easily and cost-effectively. This kit is a high-quality Vmxq piston kit. It comes with the piston, it comes with the rings, the pin and the clip, the top-end bearing, and the full top-end gasket kit, including the head gasket, the base gasket, and the exhaust gasket. All components are made with modern materials and manufacturing techniques to ensure an as good or better fit than OEM and better performance. This Mako 490 kit is available in 87 millimeter plus 0.05 millimeters over. Will save you 10% compared to buying it piece by piece or individually. The OEM numbers are provided to ensure an exact fitment as well. More size options are going to be coming up. So keep following Vmxq. I understand they're on Amazon now as well. But if you want to go to vmxq.com, you're going to save 10%. And it's right here, just like it is on every other website. You go in there, you put in your promotion code Vmxq&A 320. You're going to save yourself an additional 10% on that 490 top-end kit from Vmxq. MX fenders from Preston Petty. We had a great special last week. We were selling MX front fenders. A lot of people called in. I gave them a code. They saved, I think it was, oh boy, it was over $25, I think, by the time it was done, on vintage MX front fenders from Preston Petty. We've got another special for you this week, and it's called a bundle. Front and rear MX fenders. On the Preston Petty website, they're already marked down. If you bought them separately, they're like $105 if you bought them separately. On the Preston Petty website, they're $99.50. For watching this show, you're going to get an additional 10% off when you go to the Preston Petty website. I'll be with you in a second, Sue. I'll be with you in a second. We'll have the winner for the trivia. When you go to the Preston Petty website, you're going to put in the promotion code that you have to inbox me for. Inbox me for the promotion code for Preston Petty. You're going to get an additional 10% off of these fenders. So they're marked down on the site. They're going to be marked down again when I give you the promotion code. And it looks just like this. When you go to the Preston Petty website, there's a little thing up there in the corner where Jordan just put that red circle around, Vmxq&A special. You hit that, your checkout thing comes up at the bottom. You're going to get a code from me. You're going to save some more coin on Preston Petty products. Susie, we got a winner in the trivia?
It's Steve Ellis.
Steve Ellis.
Yeah.
Steve Ellis, how are you, my friend?
Doing good. I had some time to kill, so I thought I'd watch the show.
Oh, that's great. Well, you know, the trivia question tonight is, of course, name 3 American riders who never won a national championship, but went on to become world champions. Steve Ellis, tell us who that might be.
Well, my guess was Donnie Schmidt,
Yes.
Travis Parker, and Bobby Moore.
You got them all correct, and I think it was Travis Parker went on even to win 2. But they were never national champions, but they did go on to win world championships. Steve Ellis, I want to thank you for calling in. I'm going to put you back on the phone with my lovely bride, and she can take your address, and we're going to be sending you a copy of Finding Number 49.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing it.
Thanks, Steve Ellis.
Thank you. Bye.
Hold on.
Now, did we finish up, Jordan, on the Preston Petty thing? Did that all go smoothly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Commercial break. Lord knows I can use it. We're going to be hearing from Vmxq right now. Jordan, let's see what it looks like.
Classic and vintage dirt bikes are more than a hobby. It's not just about the ride. It's about the work that goes in. The work that keeps you connected to the ride. It's about bringing the bike back to life and doing it with your own hands. It's about the adrenaline and adventure. And when it comes to putting all the pieces together, only Vmxq knows the bikes and parts the way you do. Vmxq. Keep the ride going.
Vmxq products. I love that commercial. Go to Vmxq.com. You'll find out more about that 1981 490 piston kit, along with a whole bunch of other items from Vmxq. Let's get to the announcements, Jordan. Yours truly will be going to Australia at the end of May, the beginning of June. Compliments, well, I don't know if it's compliments of, but with the help of VMX Magazine, Ken Smith, and Harry and Rhonda Mason, Susie and I will be down there at Classic Dirt 9, I think it's called. Is that what it's called, Jordan? Oh, Classic Dirt 16. Boy, that's a lot of classic dirts behind me. Anyway, I will be down there. It'll be a 2-day event down in Australia. I'll be doing a little bit of a seminar or workshop, whatever you want to call it, on repairing Elsinore tanks. We'll be having a great time down there. So if any of my friends are watching in Australia, I hope you can come over to visit us at Classic Dirt 16, and that is June, what is it, Jordan? June 5th and 6th?
5th to the 7th, all weekend.
June 5th, 6th, and 7th. It'll be all weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to thank Ken Smith, Harry and Rhonda Mason, and of course, VMX Magazine for making all that possible. You know, we here at Vintage Motocross Q&A, we're dog lovers. Jordan's got a greyhound. I have little Gino, and one of our viewers last week had a little accident, and the dog got hit by a car, and he broke his pelvis. So, he broke his what?
Buddy.
Oh, Buddy. Yeah, I got it right here. Buddy. Buddy broke his pelvis, and I want to wish Buddy a really speedy recovery. I know it's not really vintage motocross or motocross related, but whenever one of our viewers, little pooches, gets hurt or something like that, I like to wish him well. And Buddy, if you're watching, I just want to remind you that Bob Hanna once broke his leg as well. So did Marty Smith, broke his hip, and they both came back to have wonderful careers. So Buddy, there's still a lot of life in you. You can still make a comeback, just like the legends of motocross did. FastGuyStuff.com. I want to thank Sean Goins for being a product supporter of the show. It's with his stickers that we're able to give away things during the Moto Showcase. We'll give away some tonight again to Tony Divino, and FastGuyStuff.com. Thanks for keeping those stickers coming in. And you know what? Go over there, guys. It's not only a matter of the stickers that we give away here on the show that are on the board behind me. Sean Gomes and FastGuyStuff.com make a lot of period correct stickers for a lot of different things. Check them out. FastGuyStuff.com. Vmxq&A sponsorship opportunities are still going on. Now, we've got Vinco. We've got Amsoil. We've got Sean Gomes coming in with the product thing. We've got Preston Petty working with us now. There's still an opportunity there for you as well. So if you'd like to become a sponsor of the show, drop me a line, inbox me. I'll get you out a sponsorship package. You take a look at it, and we'll see if we can't work something out for you. It can be every other week. It could be every other month. Let's talk about some opportunity that you have to get the word out there, because the show is growing. The show's growing like a weed. More and more people are seeing it every week. It's always 20,000 just when I do the show. And as it grows over a week or so, it gets up to 25, 30,000. So many people are sharing it. People like Sam Floridia, Joe Anderson, Tom Daw, so many supporters of the show, and we greatly appreciate that. So if you want to become a sponsor of Vintage Motocross Q&A, drop me a line. I'll get you a package. We'll hook you up with something that you can benefit from. Jordan, is there anything else on the agenda this evening? I want to thank you all for watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. I have been your host, Joe Abadi. We'll see you next week.